Um, Hello, tubers of the world. I'm making this video before I check my YouTube or Hotmail accounts for the first time ever. Because I want to be fresh of mind, and I have just woken up. The subject matter for this video is dreams. Now, I don't know if anyone's done this particular subject before. I'm sure there are masses of people that have. I just haven't thought of looking it up before. And this is the first time I've ever really written down something for a video, because dreams you tend to forget by midday. So I've woken up from a dream, okay, so pardon me for looking down, but I was in a real rush, okay, because I was participating in the Olympic Games at 3 p.m. and it was about 1:30, okay, and my mother was driving me to a, I guess, in the dream, she was driving me to like a shopping mall, but in reality it was just like a giant Chinese hospital. Yeah, you just walk through, there was Chinese dentist, Chinese medical practice, just everyone was Chinese, okay? Don't know what relevance that has. Okay, and then I went up an escalator and I started walking like along, like we were suddenly on Sydney Harbour, okay, but kind of elevated. I was walking along with this guy, talking to him about his work, and you know, I was riding my unicycle, and yeah, then I ended up sitting down and having a chat with him, and blah blah blah. Okay, all right. Then I went back, and my mother was driving me for some reason to the Olympic Games. We were about, you know, a quarter of the way there, and when I realised that I'd left my unicycle with the guy that I had been sitting down with while I was chatting with him. And I thought, far out. You know, I gotta go back and get my unicycle. You know, it didn't matter that I had to participate in the Olympic Games. God knows what event, but you know, it was it was really funny that as my mother drove over this giant curb. Okay, again, weird, giant curb, and then dropped me off. Okay, so. But she dropped me off far from the thing, so I was running. I was legging it along, okay, and then this giant glass bubble started talking to me. And I don't mean giant, like really giant, but I mean it was, you know, it was a good meter high, a few feet high. And he started talking to me about really intense. It was like a bubble broadcast. It was like a glass bubble, and it was like a television set pretty much, but completely 3D, like all the way around. It was you could see the image, and it was this guy talking to me about really intense personal problems. But for some reason, it was just set in the middle of a square, like a public square. Okay, so. He was talking to me about intense personal problems, issues with his wife. And I was saying nonsense things like, well, you know, the first step is admitting it and blah, blah, blah. But then I said to him, look, I gotta go, it's 1:40 and I'm participating in the Olympic Games at 3 o'clock. Anyway, then I ran back, you know, I ran past the broadcasting bubble. Yeah, there's an idea for you. And I ran through the Chinese hospital, you know, and there's all these young Chinese kids having a laugh at something. And then as I was going back up the escalator, the guy that I'd been talking to before work was coming down the escalator, and he just handed me my unicycle. Now what the hell does that mean? I'd love to get a dream interpreter on here. Okay, now I'm going to tell you one more very, very quickly, one from the night before last. Okay, the second dream I'd like to tell you about is much quicker, and I'll wrap it up because that was a bit long-winded. I was at a line. I was standing in line at a club for a club/festival. It was like a club, but it was giant, like a festival. My friend Jay, he led us to the front of the queue and he got us in without having to pay or anything. His mate was at the door and he recognised the other people that were with us. So we got in. We walked in, and we were being given free drinks and stuff, and you know the things that happen to you at clubs and pubs and festivals. You know, you get nutters coming up to you on who knows what, you know, rambling nonsense to you. Now, okay, so all this thing were happening, and then I went into a downstairs section. Like, this festival was huge, okay, and anyway, I went into the downstairs section, and what happened was I found a dead body. An old lady, kind of half buried. It was like someone had kind of torn up some floorboards, and she was just lying there amongst some kind of scattered earth. But amongst that scattered earth were like, I guess millions of dollars, just thick wads of cash like this, and about 40, 50 of them, 50 wads of cash. And me and my friend realized she was dead and we couldn't help her. Now, am I just trying to justify the next part of my dream? I said to my mate, just take a few of the bundles of cash, but leave some for when the cops get here, because obviously it's evidence. And so I pocketed about 4 or 5 of these bundles of money without anyone protesting whatsoever. Now, I think this would be a fascinating subject because I'm fascinated by dreams. It really is one of my favorite topics, and it's probably one of my favorite times of day is when I'm dreaming. Because, you know, you can be anything and you can do anything. So, you know, this video, you know, I mean, I guess you could really only post a video response to, because you can't respond in messages unless it's very brief. But if you can do that, I'd be so interested to know. I mean, what crazy dreams have you had? Okay, word.